Hello everybody, this is Trixie the Golden Witch coming to you from America, and I'm reviewing Montero, the brand new debut album from Lil Nas X, someone who I've been paying a lot of attention to because he's been, kind of demanding attention in a way that few artists do lately. I've been calling him Lady Gaga of now, basically. He's doing that level of ridiculously over-the-top gimmicks, and I love them. The Mpreg marketing campaign for Montero is genius, and I don't know if the baby registry is still up since the baby's born and all, but every song had like a different charity that it was dedicated to that you could donate to, benefit all kinds of causes that were all ones that I appreciated. So, I'm certainly within a target audience of Lil Nas X, despite the fact that I'm not really like a pop music listener. This is probably my favorite like pop album in years. The last one I kind of liked was Beer Bongs and Bentleys by Post Malone, and even that's like, it's less of a hip-hop album than Montero, despite being more hip-hop sounding, which is what I really appreciate about this more than anything, is that Lil Nas X is an amazing pop artist and also an actually good rapper. So when he does rap, just basically everything he brings to the project he does well. It's unified by those sort of Spanish sounding like finger pluck guitars that you heard on Montero, the title track rather, Call Me By Your Name. You hear those kind of things all over the album. It really brings it together. I, as a big fan of guitar sound and guitar music, am always happy to hear any sort of guitar like mixed into pop and hip hop sounds, so I greatly appreciate that. Call Me By Your Name, the single that came out before, I had stuck in my head for months. It's one of those, I really think it's one of those pop songs that goes the distance and deserves to be around for a long time. And I know that the structure of the song is kind of simple. It's pretty straightforward and short, but I think it tells a great story of limerence, of the, the feeling of first having that urge towards somebody that you are becoming, obsessed with in a way that you want to be a part of their life. In a way, it's the dark version of Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen, whereas that one's, very cute and innocent about falling in love. This guy's I'm falling in love with a dark person who does cocaine and drinks, and, I'm, willing to step into that, even though I know it's sort of, wrong, and maybe I even want to help this person out, but, I'm willing to go down that dark path to be with them because I'm so obsessed. So I find that an interesting subject matter, and I think it's explored well in the song. It's catchy as hell. Lil Nas X has a super deep voice that I think he knows, well, at least his team knows where he sounds good. Every track on this album, Lil Nas X sounds good on that track. I think the only time that I felt anybody was at all a little misplaced might have been Doja Cat, and it's not that I dislike her verse. I don't think that it was the optimal beat for her and Lil Nas, whereas the Megan Thee Stallion song sounds like a Megan Thee Stallion song, even though she's only a feature on there, the beat sounds like it was made for her, and then Lil Nas is on there, and that's the only place where he's shines less than the other person on the song. But you get to track 2, Dead Right Now, and the album gets really dark really quick, because it's him talking about it could be applied to all sorts of different relationships, though he's, very much talking about his personal life, his career, and basically people that he is treating like they are dead right now, that he's just totally shutting out of his life, which is something that'll come up a couple more times, particularly with regards to a past relationship on this album. I think that's a pretty good song. It's ice cold. If you're in that feeling, it's a great representation of it. Industry Baby is just the most fun, dance song on the album. It's got one of those iconic horn sections that's just going to worm its way into your head. And yeah, it's perfect. And the biggest thing missing from Lil Nas's music up until this album, in my opinion, was that it was too thin. He was on SoundCloud beats, type beats on YouTube, which the biggest problem with those are usually, I don't think a lot of producers realize, when you're trying to make something that sounds good on lots of different types of speakers or on the radio, you want to layer not just one snare hit, but 10 different sounds in there, and that's what was missing from the earlier stuff until this album. We finally get that punchy pop production where it's full and layered and sounds good on whatever you play it on. And there's a lot of different styles on this album, because once we get to track 4, it's basically a pop punk song. I want someone to love. That's what I want. That's what the song is called. This is probably, honestly, like one of my least favorite songs on the album, just because that very, very upbeat, poppy, like, dancey type rock, I don't know, it doesn't do much for me. I can't picture myself in a scenario where I'm like getting down to this song. I don't really know what dance I'm supposed to do. Maybe I just don't feel the feelings enough. Maybe like if I was a sad teenager dying for someone to love me, I would just, be connecting with it on the emotional level like that. But the track after that, there's like a little interlude, and then it goes into Scoop. And Scoop is a lot of fun. This is the one with Doja Cat on it. Even though I don't adore her verse, I think it's fine. And the subject of the song is great, because it's about wanting to be the daily Scoop, and everything that Lil Nas is doing to like take care of his body, to take care of his image, to be a public figure, to keep himself in people's minds and conversations. And I think if you are someone who maybe lives a lifestyle that's anything like Lil Nas X, this is like a song for you to kind of be like, all right, yeah, this is my theme song now. This is the empowerment anthem for the person who wants to be the daily Scoop. I think the next track is One of Me, which is the song that I most heard and wished I had created on this album. The beat gives me very big Oliver Francis vibes. He's not the most known rapper, but very fun, vibey type stuff that sounds like this, with more like melodic singing mixed with rapping. But the subject matter of this song is what I appreciated more than anything, because Lil Nas is somebody who is seen as problematic by lots of people, and as somebody who has come out as gay and is an extremely outspoken member of the community, a lot of people in that community don't want him there. They don't like his gimmicks, or they don't like his performance, or just don't like him as a person, and, don't want him to identify as one of them. And this song is really Lil Nas taking, like, a lot of criticisms he's received and just reversing them right back on the audience, and, like, saying, like, I feel all those same ways about you. I don't want you saying you're one of me, I don't want you telling me what to do. And representing me. And he throws out all these bars about, like, your album's gonna flop even if it's okay, like all that kind of shit, like, just clearly things that people have said about him, but he owns it and delivers it back in a way that is convincing that he is the one who gets to say these things and not you, because he's the one here with the good album that is selling extremely well and has is proving its own point, so to speak. So next we get into the back half of the album, where it takes a very sad turn. And like up until this point, it's not even that the album is like so happy or upbeat or anything. It's more in like a self-affirming kind of zone. It's like, yeah, I am cool and I'm making it and I'm doing my thing. And then the second half of the album is about like how he got there and the difficulty it took to get there. So with Sun Goes Down, he's telling the story of just like, being suicidal as a teen, growing up with like friends who made fun of him, realizing he's gay and then trying to literally pray it away, like just doing everything to avoid being himself, basically, until he blew up to a level where people were encouraging him to be himself, and he's been successful doing it. So, this section of the album, that song in particular, brought me to tears when I heard it the first time and second time, but just because he gets so goddamn emotional. But really the story gets fleshed out on Tale of Dominica, the next song, where he's talking about like waking up on a deflated air mattress in a broken home, not wanting to go home because he can't face his mother. He in one song is talking about having an argument with his dad, where he's like, you have a 1 in a million shot, and he says, I am that one in. So like, yeah, this guy's got troubled relationships, he's got a troubled life up to this point, and now that he's making it, he's really letting people know, like, if you've had all these difficulties and hated yourself as well, hey, look, I managed to become the most famous guy in the world when I stopped doing all that, And then we go into The Void, which is probably the most like rock bottom track. I was very happy that this song did not bite me in any way as the Void Gazer. It's a totally original song that had a really unique feel. With the whole album relying again on those like hand-plucked guitar sounds, this one really strips it down to just that for a while and sort of twinkles, and it feels like you're floating in space until sort of like, you know, crashing down to earth and reawakening at the end of the track. Like, it starts off kind of sad, but it has an empowering close and goes into the next song, whose name I cannot remember, but it's the one that's basically his big celebration of like having made it through all that, being cool now, and this is the one with Megan Thee Stallion. She just fucking rips on this verse. So yeah, like it's a big braggadocious fuck yeah I'm cool type of song, which is then kind of undercut because he goes into Life After Salem, which I kind of read as, you know, up until this point he's talked a lot about his doubters and stuff along the way. This is the doubt that he's gotten even after being famous, even after being successful. Now people are trying to like take everything from him, and it's this this very sour-sounding Nirvana-esque like grunge song that sounds all twisted and garbled and stuff. It's not one of my favorite tracks on the album personally because it's not really my type of rock music. But I think it's pretty effective, and it works in the modern sort of emo troubled rap genre that we've got going on. And then the album actually ends on a piano ballad that's really nice about not wanting to be forgotten, asking people to remember me, remember the things I've done. It's got Miley Cyrus on it singing gorgeously. They end in a duet. Overall, like, I thought this was just a really solid project. It covers so many bases, so many emotional tones. Every song is good. Like, the ones that I might skip because they're not really my style is purely for that reason. I don't think there's anything wrong with the tracks. For my personal favorites, I would say Montero, the opener, is amazing. It's always stuck in my head. Industry Baby is a ton of fun, very danceable. I don't know if it's as memorable, but Sun Goes Down and Tale of Dominica I thought were really meaningful. They cut deep. They had a lot of emotion behind them. And again, One of Me is like a track that I could have seen myself making, so I was really happy that it exists. And I couldn't have made it myself because I don't have a voice anything like Lil Nas X. He has such a unique voice, and that's one of the like coolest things about the fact that he can actually make good songs, because it's nice that, you know, it's not just a gimmick or anything. He actually knows what he's doing. So I love following Lil Nas X on social media. I like pretty much everything he's got going on. I didn't think I'd enjoy this album, and I was kind of blown away by it. I'm not going to call it like a 10 out of 10 or something, because, again, pop is not usually my genre. I don't know how many tracks from this I'll still be listening to 3 years from now, but it was pretty good. And that's that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to hear some of my music, it's all here on the channel. Producer Vizier has his music here as well. We collaborate. He probably edited this video, so he's going to be putting links to not only Lil Nas's project, but all of our project that you can go check out. And, of course, go to the main channel, Ygg Studio, if you want to see our adventures in the Void Gazer series, if you want to see my anime content, because I'm like a famous anime analysis person and stuff, and also Picnic Adventure, the show where me and my boyfriend go on adventures around America. Check all that out. And don't forget, music's good.